the basic idea of the app here is going to be to have a mobile app. But what I want to do is I want to be able to have a company join and then be able to invite the staff so that I only have one app, but multiple companies can use it. But each company's information is their own, and then the staff can join, and then if a staff member leaves, we can deactivate that staff member's rights. So that's generally in the SaaS world or software world, and I'm not a software builder, but I've been learning about this for a little bit. So that makes me an expert, right? Oh, you know what? I never checked to see if is my audio working. Sorry. Check this here real quick. No, it's not. Oops, sorry guys. Or it is, but it's not using my headset. I'm using my headset. Give me 1 sec here. I'll get myself set up. Sorry. This is like totally impromptu. I didn't even think about doing this. Okay, how's there? The audio should be a lot better now. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen over. So I'm kind of hoping you guys can see that. What I'm going to do is just join in the meeting real quick from my iPad if I can. I don't know if it's going to let me join. Okay, cool. So that seems to be working. All right, so I'm going to leave. Okay, cool. Yeah, so what I want to try to do here is have a multi-tenant app. So I'm just going to sort of go through thinking about how I would build this. So the database users is fine. So the first question would be, should we rename this to companies? Because you can't have companies and users in the same block, because we need to be able to have users be a sub off of that. So the first thing I'm going to do, I think, is I'm going to make a collection called companies. And some people might call this teams, or whatever it is that you're using, but basically this will be sort of the parent organization. So the app is the top level that covers all, and then within it we'll have these sort of mini silos for the companies, and then the companies can have a bunch of users connected to it. So for companies, all I really need right now is just a name. And this would be something that would be nice to have the ability to specify as being unique, which is, I'm hoping, something that Adala will add in the future. But for right now, I'm not going to worry about it too much, because it's just a prototype app for me to work with and get some user feedback on and that type of thing. So a company, obviously, we're going to need to build a relationship back to users for that. So the first thing I'm going to do is add a relationship from companies back to users. And in this case, I only want a user to be able to have one company, but because it's staff for a company can obviously have multiple users. And in my particular case, I only ever want a staff member to be part of one company. So I'm only going to use this one here. So many to one, or whichever way you want to look at it, one to many, many to one. But I'm not going to do a many to many. So a company can have multiple users, but a user can only belong to one company. So that's what I want to have there. So that adds that in. And I guess what we could do is we could rename users to maybe staff. So let's do that here. So I'm just going to call that staff, and then I wonder, I don't know if I can rename this. I've never tried. I'm going to guess that we probably can't, because user, that's probably, tied in at a core level. So based off of that, I think what I'm going to do is rename this back to users, just to keep things in sync between the database name that sort of thing. So, and now what I want to do, I think, is I want to be able to specify if a user is if a user is, I probably don't need this quite yet, but I'm going to add it anyways. I want to know if a user is an owner or what you would call an admin, just keeping with the whole company staff type of thing. I'm going to just do owner. And whenever I do a true false like that, I always like to just put a question mark so that it's explicit that like this is just, it's A, it's a question, and B, I associate that with a toggle, like a true false type thing. So that's going to set that up. And I think for clarity, what we're going to do is we're going to rename the sign up page to be, we're going to rename that to be add, create your company account. So let's just see how this is going to work out, because this is the part that I'm wondering how to do. I'm just going to check here. Okay. So sign up, I'm going to change that over to be create your company. So good question is, do we create a company and then do this, or do we add a user? So I think we're going to need a page before this that is, you know, are you creating a new company or are you joining as a user? So I'm going to have to think about that one a little bit. Company account. So let's just try that out. And I think, can we do, no, that's not going to work there. Can I add, yeah, okay, I can just add an enter line there. So cool. So create your company account. So we've got our form here, and this is a form for users. So what I might end up doing here is replacing this with a custom form so that I can collect some different information there. But for now, I'll just try building it out like this. So I'm going to change this one to explicitly be so let's just put company owner's email. So what I want to do is you know, create the company first, and then once we have this, I want a way for a way for them to create staff or invite staff. Password, and then we want to have their full name. I don't really have a need for username here. And we're not, so what we'll do here is we'll add an automatic field. So in this case, we're going to set them to be the owner of the account. And that should do the trick there. Sign up user, and we're not going to link to home in this case. We're going to link to a new screen, which we'll call create company. And we're just going to use that as a default form for now, I think. So what I'm going to do in this case, I sort of tend to style my my apps in like a column and row scenario. So I'm going to move home down to here because I just sort of want to have a sign up flow row. So you know, it would sort of bounce from sign up. You know, you could move this around, but that's just the way I like to think about things a little bit. So create company. So this is going to be for company, and we're going to create a new company. So the first one is company name. Enter company name. Oh, don't need that. And it's single line, and this field is required. We don't have any automatic fields here at this time, and our submit button, just for fun, we'll just style that a little bit, where I want the color to, so that we're creating things there. Okay, so we've got that there. Okay, cool. So I think that should work okay. So once we do create company, then I think what we'll do, we don't need a link. Great. Yeah, so we definitely don't want to be doing that. We're going to create company. And we're going to now link this to another new screen, I think, which we'll do as a new form. And we're going to think about that one for a second. I just want to come back to here. So for here, I don't think I want a left icon here. We're in this flow. I don't want them to be going backwards at this point, because that's going to screw things up, for creating a new, they could potentially create a second thing or something like that. So here, I think what I want to do here is invite staff. So this is going to be a form. So this is the part of multi-tenant where it'd be really nice to have like a proper invitation system, like to be able to send out like a unique invitation, to download the app and create an account or something like that. But basically what we're going to try to do here is we're going to say that this is a collection of users, and what do you want the form to do? So we're going to, I want it to create a new user. So we don't want to sign the user up. Interesting. What's that going to do? Okay, that might actually work. So let's just go take a look at this here. I always like to get the title in there right away, just so it's clear what I'm working on. Add user to company. So obviously later on we could go and do some better titling and names, but the big one here is just so that we know how to work through this and make things happen. So this form here, right away, I know we don't need name. I don't need username here. So one way we could do this is, for them to assign a temporary password. The other way to do it would be to create the account, and then I wonder if there's a way that we could spoof it so that we have a button at the beginning that's like, join your team. Yeah, let's try that. Okay, so what I'm thinking is, the owner of the company is going to say, download this app, and when you open the app for the first time, it'll be a screen that says create your company, join a team, or log into your account. So we'll have 3 buttons there for that. And that might end up being the welcome screen. So let's just play around with this for a minute. So we're just going to add a user to a company, and the only thing we're going to do is email and their name, and then the button. So what's cool here is it's now automatically setting this user to the current company, which is good. That's what we want to have happen. So it's slick that Adalo is doing that for us. We're going to change our button here. Where's my button? There's my button. So we're going to change our button to create user. And then, So sign up user, and I'm going to change that button color to our blue. Okay, so what would be cool here too, and I haven't experimented with emails, but it would be nice, obviously, to probably add an action here that would trigger a notification, or trigger an email to be sent. I think this would be really good for Adalo to build in is just some sort of direct link to some sort of email, recommended email service. So, whether it's, hey, Adalo works best with Postmark, and we've got a pre-built workflow for Postmark, that'd be kind of cool. So might have to add that as a suggestion. Let's make a list of things to do. So email, service, integration, suggestion, Postmark. Okay, cool. But for right now, we're not going to do that. We're going to let the owner manually do that. And again, this part of rapid prototyping is don't build out every feature right away. You can add it to a backlog or something like that. But get the core basic functionality of your app up and running. From the get-go, and do that up. Okay, so I think create a user. So what we want to do now is probably go back, and we're going to create a new screen here. And I think they're called, the welcome screen is probably the one that I want to have. That's an onboarding workflow. I've never worked with that yet. So I'm going to try out this one here. So sorry, let's do that here. So this is going to be our welcome screen. So let's go take a look at where this is going to sit. And again, just thinking about my flow, this will sort of be the screen that leads into these screens. So let's take a look at this. So app name, fine. We'll leave just the default picture there. So already have an account. I'm going to rename that one to, that didn't work. Log in to your account. Let's do this one here as, so create your company. So create your company. So create your company, and then we're going to actually, I'm just going to copy and paste that one. So we want to do 3 here, and this will be join your company. And then log into your account will be the default one. So create your company, join your company, or log into your account. Cool. So what I'm thinking here, so create your company is going to link, it's always weird in the UI. I always think I should be able to click that to do something when it's empty. So this is going to link to create, to sign up. And can I rename sign up? I can. So we're going to do create company owner sign up, because that is going to be specifically for owners to sign up. So this links to this. So that's cool. And then log into your account is going to link to login. So let's just do that here. Link to login. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add another new screen here, and it's going to be, so what I want to do is I want to create a mock-up of this. So this is users, log the user in. Okay, so let's just try this. So I'm going to try doing it as a add screen. So I'm going to do a login screen. So this is going to be user create password / account is what I'm going to call it. So because what I'm going to do is sort of spoof it so it looks like they're creating an account when they're actually not really creating an account. All they're going to do is create a password for that account. So what we're going to do here is, so we'll call this join your team. Join your team, right? And some people might have like a company selector here. The only problem is then you're giving away who all your clients are, and if you get like 1,000, you'd have to scroll through. And that's where I'm thinking that if we just do the email thing, we could probably find a way to spoof this to work. So join your team. So basically what I want to do is have them enter their email. Yeah, okay, let's just think about this. Is this going to work? So enter email. So we've got their name and their email. So what I'm kind of wanting to do is have them like enter the email, and then if the email matches an email that exists in the system, let them create a password, which we're just going to do as forgot password. So maybe what we need to do here, so on press is forgot password. So if I go here, so this is a form for users, and this would log the user in. Okay, that's fine. So log the user in. And what we want here is we're actually going to remove the password field. So what they're going to do is they're going to say join their team, and then we're going to change this to join now. I don't need a forgot password here. And sign up, we actually want to say, we'll just call this, whoop, didn't need to do that. We'll call this cancel for now. And we don't need an icon, but what this is going to do is this is going to link us back to our welcome screen. So if a user clicks the, into here by accident, they do that. So really all we're doing here is we're going to change this button here. So instead of logging in, we're going to, invalid email or password. Okay, that isn't what I wanted to do then. So I was hoping that I could change this action. Doesn't look like I can though, which makes sense because it's a login form. So maybe what I need to do here is actually just delete this. Let's just add a normal form. So we're just going to do form here. And this is a form for users. And when we log the user, so I need that forgot password action. Okay, let's try log user in. And again, I'm locked into that. Okay, so that isn't going to work. So let's just backspace here a little bit and get ourselves back to having might just be, there it is. Okay, so we want to keep forgot password. So what we're going to do here is we're actually going to go here. We're going to get rid of Oh. Okay, so I want to keep forgot password, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete the join now because this is forcing me to use this as a login, which makes sense. It's a login form. So I'm going to try deleting that, and then what I'm going to do is just try adding a, don't want it as a text. I'm going to try form again. So form users, assign user, update logged in. What if I do update logged in user? This is a long shot. No, because it's logged in user and no one's going to be logged into this yet. I don't think that would work. Okay, so I'd likely just need to build this with an input. Okay, so I'll do this as a type of email. Enter your, I'm going to call it company email. Now, not everyone's going to know that. But we'll just put enter your company email. And then we're going to spoof this, which to say we don't want forgot password. We're going to say I'm just going to say to create, or we don't need click, people know what to do. Create account. So, and then what I'm going to do is add some text here. And we'll do this white. Right. And what we're going to do here is we're going to do enter the email you use, or enter your email to start creating your account. And this is an Adalo bug here. At least for me, I can't type text in here, multi-line. So I'm going to try something. Oh, okay. So I need to like create a line. It doesn't like word wrap itself. Account. You will receive an email to complete email. Enter. It's a really annoying bug. Email to complete the process. So like I say, a little bit of a hacky way here, but it's a way that we know that the email is attached to the company already, so that someone without an email attached to a company isn't going to be able to do that. This is at least my theory and my thinking right now. So let's go here. We're going to change this button style. Text button. There we go. Primary color. Doesn't want to change for me. Oh, okay. It's the text. Primary color, uppercase. Yeah, that's interesting. Anyways, I would probably want to be restyling this a little bit or something. So let's just go back and change this to white again. And then we had changed this button. This button here is going to be cancel. And its action is going to be to link back to the welcome screen. All right, so let's give this a little whirl here now. So if I've got this right, the first thing we're going to need to do is create a new company. So let's preview this puppy up. And the question, oh, so I wonder if it's going to automatically go to the welcome screen or which screen is going to load. I haven't used a welcome screen before. So yeah, so first off, we want, so how do we get, so what's that little icon there mean, I wonder? So we want this to be the screen that loads. Good one. I don't know exactly how this actually works. So components, welcome screen, you can just delete it. So I want to set the, I don't want it to be the home screen. I want it to be the launch screen. I would have kind of expected that to probably have shown up. So actions when a user visits the screen. Nope. Is it in settings maybe? Command or display settings? App access. So it's not there. It wouldn't be in publish, wouldn't be database. Maybe it's in screens. Oh, okay. So there we go. So what's this? All screens. So that's the home screen. Okay, this is a good one. I may need to actually pull up the documentation for this and take a look on how to do this. I haven't done it. So let's do that real quick. See if they've got something. So screens and components, component basics, screen basics, changing. So let's just see what screens has to say for us. Creating a new screen, add panel from link action, editing a screen name, navigation. Okay, so this is, so set the navigation type. To edit a screen, click on its canvas. Oh, I probably have seen this and I've just never paid any attention to it. So welcome screen. Ah, there we go. Yeah, never, ever, ever seen that before. So this is going to be our welcome screen. Oh, okay. So that little user with the key is welcome. The icon makes me think it's a login screen. Okay, so let's go back and we'll preview this up. Okay, bingo. So app name, create your company, join your company, log into your account. So the first thing that I'm curious about here is if I just go now, okay, a little bug there, log into your account. This should actually link to, not to log, oh yeah, log into your account links to login, that's fine. So, yeah, okay. So let's just try that again. So preview. So log into your account should go to login. Oh yeah, join your company. Okay, so if I go join my company, which doesn't do anything, let's go fix that. So join your company. I forgot to add an action there. Link. User create. Done. Okay, so let's preview that up again. So join your company. So what I'm curious about, we don't have anyone in the database right now. So if I fire this in and I hit create account, okay. I wasn't expecting that to come up. I was hoping it would just straight up email from there. Bummer. So that changes things because now they have to like do something. So, okay, so let's just try this here. So, because really what we want is a condition check here. So, so what we want to do here is on press, forgot password, show advance. So we only, okay, maybe this will work. Happens only if user form inputs, input, logged in. So they're not logged in yet. Form inputs, input, okay, is equal to, I want to be able to select that. Okay, so maybe this isn't going to work this way. Because I need to be able to verify. I want to be able to verify if that email is actually a proper, email or company, like an email that's been added to the database by the owner. So if input, this is our input. So let's just rename this user email to join. So if we come back to here, user email to join is equal to, yeah, so I don't know a way around that because we obviously don't want it to be logged in user because they wouldn't log me in. And that's funny, you can create a little loop there. That isn't going to work for us. Okay, so this might not work, might not be a way to do this. So all of this might be for naught. And I don't think we can restyle that forgot password screen, can we? No, it looks like it's so if we could restyle that password screen, we could kind of spoof this to work, but it doesn't look like we have access to be able to do that. Okay, so it's an ugly way of doing it, but what we're going to do is we're going to join your team. So what we're going to do is, again, this is not a pretty way of doing this, but it's a hack and it's a prototype, so let's just do it. So what we're going to do here is to join your company. Click below to reset your password. To reset your password. And log in. Okay. So click action here, or we don't need a click action. So let's style this up a little bit. We're going to center that and we'll make it maybe semi-bold. Yeah, so create account. So probably shouldn't actually be create account. So join your company. Let's put here, welcome. Let's get started. A little bit of like an onboarding flow or something. All right, so let's just try this out. It's not going to be as pretty as what I was hoping for. What we need is the ability for Adalo to give us the ability to stylize or create our own custom reset password pages. So we're just going to try this out because I'm curious to see what happens. So join your company. So let's just see if I submit this. It should hopefully say something like, again, not the message that I wanted it to have to say, because to me that user shouldn't exist in the system yet because they're not in the database. But we should, I guess, maybe go take a look at the database and make sure that that is in fact the scenario. Now the real question is does Adalo send an email even if they're not there? Okay, so let's just go take a look at the database real quick. Yeah, so we have 0 records. All right. Okay, So let's for now pretend actually create a company and see what happens if we do it the right way. So we're going to create your company. Use our super secret password, and I'm going to be the owner. So I'm going to sign up. And this is, we're going to call it demo company. And then I'm going to invite my staff, Bart Simpson, and I'm going to send this to a different email. I had used my email before. So we're going to create user. The user email already exists. How does that work? That's weird because we didn't add that user. Okay, so maybe I've got like a little bug in my setup routine here. Okay, so let's just go take a look at this here. Submit button. So sign up is going to create. So that's going to create a user account, and then it's going to link to the company. And the company, all it should be doing is creating the company. So then I must have this being wrong. Oh, okay. So this is actually creating another user. Okay. So this form isn't going to work. So again, we're probably going to need to do a custom form here. So add user to company. And let's just do a form. And this form is going to be users. And this is going to be, so I can't create a new user here. Okay, this is getting a little complicated. So one way around this is I guess we could use the users table as only our admins table, and then we could create a separate table called staff. But then would we be able to add, can you add password field to another table? Let's just try that real quick. I don't know if we, so the question is can we add this to another table? Add property. Yeah, so we don't have access to that password field. So we need to do that. Because we want that hashed and secure and all the rest of that jazz. Bummer. The theory was sound. We're just a little locked in by what we could do with the Dalo here. Unfortunately. Yeah, although I'm gonna bounce over to MakerPad here. Okay, so our theories here are good. The forgot password idea was a neat idea. So the only problem I'm running into is how can I add a user without going through the like create a new user thing? because this only lets me log the user in or sign the user up. But the problem with that is I think it wants to just like it's literally like signing up a user, which isn't what we want to do here. Sign user up, log user in. So we definitely can't be updated log user, and we definitely can't be that. So we're missing an action that we could do there. Okay, so I think we're going to need Adalo's help a little bit on this, in that, you know, we either need them to allow us to add passwords to another table, or if they can create a table, a collection that is like a copy of users, again, so we could have like admin and then non-admin users or something like that, because you know, what we need is this password protected field here that's, you know, hashed and all the rest of that jazz. So yeah, it'd be really interesting to hear from the guys at Adalo on this. So one thing I haven't done that I should do, or should have done probably even before I started this, is gone and taken a look at the Adalo resources. I don't think there's a tutorial, and I don't think any of the, yeah, any of those are going to do what I want it to do. So let's just try going to adalo.com. How do you get access to the forum? Let's just try connect multiple apps. That one might have one. I'm never sure how to spell tenant, so that doesn't show up either. That doesn't show up either. Okay. So this may just be something that is a weird one. So invite users. So building an event app as a user, as creating an event, is it possible to add a list of attendees, name, email? Okay, so I would share Mitchell's. Accomplish the same thing via an invite system. So create a new collection called user invites. Mirror the fields available in the users collection as closely as possible. Create an invite form linked to user invites for inviting new users. Form action creates a new record. Creates a new record where? I guess in user invites. Zapier, when new record is created in user invites collection, then create new record in the user collection. Oh, that's funny. So Zapier has the ability to do it, but we don't have the ability to do it inside Adalo. From the user invite, Zapier in the same Zap trigger an email to send to new user containing the password reset page. A bit of a hack, but it works. Also, I added an inviter field to the user so I can track who sent the invites, and add a separate user invite remind collection. Okay, so that pretty much would do what we're trying to do. So could have saved myself a bunch of time if I had searched a little bit more. But it's a good learning exercise because I found out a few other things that I hadn't done in Adalo, like welcome screen and stuff. So for clarity, if the OP did this, the newly invited users would have the same access as the original user, the user invited. Therefore, the invited users would also be able to add. And if that's the case, is there a way, because is what they have access to depends on the data. Yeah, so we can do that with like an admin toggle where the invited users don't get an admin toggle or something like that. I'm thinking so. That's probably the thing to try. I've been resisting buying a Zapier account um, just because I'm not wanting to pay for another service if I don't have to. But I do have a few other things that I could use Zapier for. So maybe the time has come for me to do that. As I'm guessing that I probably can't do this with a free account. Um, so, okay. I think that's brought us to the end of the road on this. We'll probably post this video up with a warning that it doesn't go anywhere other than and then a link to this to say, here's probably how you'd solve the problem. But yeah, cool.